Okay, it's finally time to talk about The Sims. I love this video game series. It's laid back at times like Animal Crossing, but it can be chaotic like Smash Brothers or Mario Kart. There's so much cool custom content and interesting mods for it, and the best part is that everyone plays it differently. One person can have a completely different experience than someone else, kind of like real life. I play it mostly chaotically. Like how my friends used to play Grand Theft Auto back in the day, what I like doing most is seeing how many different kinds of deaths I can rack up. And I thought that was what was going to offend someone one day, but it wasn't. To me, it was something entirely unexpected that offended people. Hey there, welcome back to the weird side of YouTube. I'm your host, Author DC Connect, and this is The Legend of Gaming, the show in which I talk about my favorite video games. If you've been watching my Let's Play of The Sims 4, you've probably noticed my new mini-series in that playlist, which features my new character called Helga Hugo. The titles of which I have changed to Breed Out the Weird, something as a proud weirdo I personally find offensive, but this isn't about me. The next episode of Helga's story is to premiere on Sunday, and it will be the last of that mini-series of the challenge itself. Not because I finished it, in actuality I haven't even come close. So why am I ending it? Well, grab a snack and something to drink, and let's get into it. And get comfortable, because it's going to be a little long. My Let's Play of The Sims 4 is literally just extra content for my channel. It's meant to be lighthearted and funny. But, as we all know, comedy and humor are subjective. Because of this, there are a lot of things I do in my Sims Let's Plays that some people aren't going to like. For one, I murder townies for fun. Another is that I make jokes about hating children. Because I hate kids. I even make fun of Jeffree Star in one episode, turning Vlad into him and sending him out to ruin the lives of my favorite characters. And I take on the personality of whichever sim I'm playing as, to give the audience a sort of inner monologue for them. That's why, in some episodes, I'm mean to other sims and make vulgar and gross jokes, while in others I'm more than kind and loving and respectful. But none of those things have seemed to be an issue. What has been an issue is my playthrough of the challenge Breed Out the Ugly, and I'm using that title because that is what I called it initially. I've seen so many simmers do this challenge over the years, and it always seemed like they were having fun with it. And I guess I should mention that I've never seen any negative reaction to them in the comments of their own videos of it, to be fair. So, let me give you the story. So I'm whoring out my new Sims Let's Play video to Facebook groups, literally everywhere I can plug it. You know, as one does. And I get a comment in a Bear Gamer group. It says, and I quote, "Problematic content, but okay." And it just seems so goofy, as there are bigger YouTubers out there doing the same challenge I'm doing, and there's been no sign, at least to me, of any kind of controversy. So I'm sure it's either sarcasm, or he's just a troll. So I reply with a GIF of Alice from Disney's Alice in Wonderland curtsying with the text, "You're welcome," underneath it. Welcome to the tea party! Because I thought he was joking. But I was still waiting for him to reply, just in case he wasn't actually kidding with me. Instead, he goes to the video itself on YouTube and comments, "Promoting eugenics or pimping out someone while body shaming isn't going to get you more subscribers." Did he just call my precious Helga a whore? Isn't that slut shaming? I'm offended on her behalf. I love Helga. I love how she looks. Even if I did succeed with breeding the ugly out of her, I was still going to play as her, exactly the way she is. Her children and grandchildren can go rot in a garbage dump for all I care. I may even have let her kill them eventually. Oh, because she's a murderer, by the way. I guess I have a soft spot for quote-unquote ugly characters. Gruntilda from Banjo-Kazooie is my favorite character from that entire franchise. Her personality, her looks, it's all very ugly by design, and I love her for it. I don't care that she's a villain. I don't care that she's one-dimensional. Her looks make her interesting and unique. And she's funny. If you've read my novel, Dream, a surreal and psychedelic gay romance fantasy novel, you'd know my love for quote-unquote wicked witches and the pain that resides within their broken hearts. The idea of a monster that wasn't always a monster, one that was turned into one by society, is something that stuck with me throughout the years of my life. But what was that other thing he said? Promoting eugenics? I had to Google that to make sure we were talking about the same thing, which, much to my chagrin, we were. I don't think even in my most over-analyzing days I would have ever made a connection to a Sims challenge and a practice used by actual Nazis on their victims to try and create the perfect human. But the thing is, he's not wrong. There is a similarity there. Whether or not it's worth getting as irate as he was about it, well, I guess that depends on who you are as a person. What is the breeding challenge in The Sims 4 other than taking someone you think of as ugly and literally forcing her to copulate with other Sims you deem attractive so that their offspring may lack the big nose, big ears, skin color, fat, or any other undesirable trait she may have? The challenge is literally trying to breed the perfect Sim. Even if your idea of perfection is different than that of the Nazis, it's still kind of gross when you think about it. Not only that, but it's telling viewers that they're ugly if they share any of these undesirable traits with your Sim, and on a basic human level, well, that's just kind of mean, isn't it? I messaged him on Facebook to try and talk to him about it, but he blocked me. He was genuinely upset about it. You'll notice I'm not using the word triggered here. That's because I'm not trying to belittle or downgrade his feelings. In fact, if you're watching this right now, I'm sorry that my Let's Play of The Sims 4 upset you this badly. And that goes to anyone who has seen the titles or the thumbnails and just put me on ignore because they hate this challenge. So I'm back at square one with nothing but a question. I returned to my gaming Facebook group searching for an answer, and I got more engagement from this one question than I ever have with any of my YouTube videos. Most people were asking why I was taking his opinion into account in the first place. Others were calling him Karen or Ken, using my genuine question as a soapbox to preach about the evilness of cancel culture, bringing up Mr. Potato Head and Dr. Seuss. And a handful of people were even telling me that it didn't seem as though it were his place to be offended, that he was speaking up for a group of minorities and silencing them in the process. I can't say that's the case, I know nothing about the man. But others were actually answering my question, which was, is the breed out the ugly, or the breed out the weird challenge problematic? Is there a controversy around it? For most people, even among Simmers, the answer was a resounding no. And they were urging me to continue playing the game the way I was. Some of them said things like, maybe the guy just identifies as ugly, while others questioned my reasoning for asking the question in the first place. The phrase, it's just a game, got thrown around a lot, which, yeah, obviously. But for others, the answer was a bit different. Trans people were telling me that they couldn't watch or even see the thumbnails without feeling sick to their stomachs. They were saying that the entire idea seems transphobic to them, and most, if not all, of the ugly Sims that people have created are females with masculine features. They told me that this challenge could reinforce stereotypes people have about certain bodies and body types, which makes sense to me. I thought I was making Helga to look inhuman, to be so exaggerated that no one in real life would ever look even the slightest bit similar to her. I thought I was making a monster, and to be honest, I still don't think that anyone looks like Helga, but can I say that for sure? No, that would be impossible. But no one seems to have a problem with Helga herself. It's more the challenge and what it involves that is the issue. That makes sense, as to me, Helga looks more like a demonic cartoon character witch than anything else. Someone even said that every oppression faced in the history of our culture has stemmed from the idea that certain bodies are good and others are bad, so much so that good bodies should control the bad ones, even deciding whether or not they should exist. From race, to sex, to gender, to disability, body size, age, every social injustice anyone has ever faced boils down to good bodies versus bad bodies. And while I understand where she's coming from and agree with literally everything she's saying, I do think that connecting all of that to a Sims challenge is a bit much for me personally. But obviously, I'd like to distance myself from anything associated with Nazis. I think anyone would, and I can't really separate the challenge from eugenics in my own mind now. And I get that even the word ugly is, well, ugly. But honestly, I don't think I've ever found another human being to be ugly. The only people I've heard use that word to describe someone and mean it are literal children, and children are terrible. But being pansexual kind of skews how I look at people in general. Some people in the groups even reacted in anger, talking to me as if I were a child or otherwise trying their hardest to offend me. That is how you get blocked. That is what makes me think you're a troll, that you don't really care about the issues, you just want to hurt people. Those people are calling me shallow now, and saying that I'm stupid. Not because I was doing the challenge in the first place, but because I had the gall to ask if people found it offensive. And at first I was upset, because if they actually watched my videos of it, they would see how what they're describing isn't how I made Helga at all. I didn't make her fat. I didn't give her masculine features. I literally tried to make her look like the evil witch from the original movie The Witches.
Better is no good either.
I didn't even have a set goal in mind. I was literally just playing and seeing how far I could get. Not to mention both of the men she was trying to woo were people of color, one of which was fat. I'm fat, and I've been called names over it. I've been called ugly. I've been told by my own lovers that I'm worthless and disgusting, that I have a body like Quasimodo because my back is fucked up. I've been told by my own parents that I'm an abomination for being gay and gender fluid. If anyone has the heart and the experience to understand what you're saying, it's me. You don't have to beat it into my head with anger and insults. I may be neurodivergent, and sometimes have to ask a group of my peers if and why something is offensive to them, but that doesn't mean I won't understand. It doesn't mean I won't hear you should you choose to speak to me in a calm, rational voice. And it certainly doesn't mean I won't respect both you and your concerns. What I've come to realize through my own research and talking to different people about their experiences is that it doesn't really matter that I was playing this challenge differently. After all, the titles and the thumbnails themselves were enough to make people make up their minds about it, because they've seen so much hatred spewing from videos like these before, and I can't really blame them for having a gut reaction to that.
But to be completely and utterly honest with you guys, the challenge itself was boring to me and it was taking entirely too long. That's why I was spicing the episodes up with murder. I was even debating on a plot line about Helga using men to build an army of evil gargoyle creatures that would go and murder other Sims themselves. Before any of this even happened, I was trying to think of a way to break off the challenge. But obviously, I didn't know what it meant to some of you. I hadn't even seen anyone talk about its issues on YouTube, hence this video's existence. And I never would have even put 2 and 2 together without that first comment. So thank you, sir. You could have gone about it in a much nicer way, but I do appreciate you getting the ball rolling nonetheless.
Now, if you enjoy the challenge, I can't tell you to stop playing through it or watching others do so. No one has told me to stop either, but rather I'm choosing to do so on my own accord, for the reasons previously given. You have the right to continue playing The Sims the way you want to play, and you also have the right to enjoy whatever content you enjoy, but you should know the all too real world history and the atrocities that have come along with breeding out the ugly in real life. It wasn't just the Nazis. Genocide is still happening in certain parts of the world, and as hurtful as it may be, people have the right to tell you their opinion, whether that be respectful or insulting. The point of this video is to start, or rather continue, a conversation. I think it's important for humans as individuals to try and see what they're doing through the eyes of other people, whether that's writing, comedy, or playing a video game. If something I've done, or will ever do, bothers any of you, I'd like you to tell me. But keep in mind, there is a nice way to do this that doesn't involve being a snarky asshole. Like I've said, all that does is make me think you're a troll. But if you come to me like an adult and show me respect, I will take both you and your concerns seriously. Otherwise, I can't tell if you're just messing with me or not, and I'll have to go hunting for answers through Facebook groups, and no one wants to do that. No one wants to risk more anxiety attacks. So the challenge is over. Helga and her son are free. Her entire existence is no longer hinged on her having children that are more aesthetically pleasing than she is. She doesn't have to threaten men with murder until they bone her anymore. Now she can just murder people for fun.
I really hope you guys liked this video. I know I did. I'm super excited to finally take Helga to new heights. But as always, if you disagreed with anything in this video, please feel free to leave a peaceful and respectful comment and we can have a friendly discussion. If you liked what I've said here today, please hit that like button and subscribe. Please subscribe, but honestly, I appreciate just you guys watching and listening to me, as I haven't had much of that in my life. From the bottom of my heart, I love and appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.